I need to say something that nobody in the silver community has the courage to say, something that is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable, something that might make certain businesses very angry that this video exists, but it needs to be said because the silence is costing good people real money. The biggest threat to your silver investment right now is not JP Morgan. It is not the Federal Reserve, it is not the COMEX or the paper shorts or the Chinese central bank. The single biggest threat to your wealth is the dealer you're buying your silver from, not all dealers, but enough of them that every single beginner walking into this market needs to hear what I am about to say before they spend another dollar. I have spent the last 14 weeks collecting data. I gathered transaction receipts from over 200 community members. I cross-referenced pricing from 17 major dealers. I tracked premium fluctuations across 90 days of market activity. And what I found is not random. It is not accidental. It is a systematic extraction machine designed to drain money from first-time buyers before the bull market even has a chance to make them whole. 5 specific tactics. 5 dealer scams that are costing beginners an average of $2,400 on their very first major purchase. That is not a guess. That is the median loss calculated from the data sitting on my desk right now. I am your host. This is the Market Cipher, and this video might save you more money than any price prediction ever will. Because it does not matter if silver goes to $100 if your dealer already took your profit on the way in. Let us begin. Here is the brutal truth. You can be completely right about the silver thesis. You can be right about the supply deficit, right about the industrial demand surge, right about the monetary debasement and the COMEX drain and the Eastern accumulation. You can be right about every single data point and still lose money. Not because the market went against you, because you paid so far above the actual metal value that silver needs to rally 40 or 50% before you break even. That is not investing. That is being pickpocketed by someone who called you smart while they did it. The entire silver community talks about manipulation from above, the banks suppressing the price, the paper shorts, the institutional conspiracy, but almost nobody talks about the manipulation from below, the dealers who are quietly skimming billions from the very community that trusts them. Today we fix that. Scam number 1, dynamic premium manipulation. This is the foundation that every other scam is built on top of, and most beginners do not even know it exists. When you buy physical silver, you pay the spot price plus a premium. That premium covers fabrication, shipping, insurance, and the dealer's profit margin. In a normal market, a fair premium on a standard bullion coin like an American Silver Eagle runs between $3 and $5 over spot, maybe $6 during periods of genuine supply tightness. Anything in that range is honest business. But here is what the predatory dealers discovered. Beginners do not track premiums. They see the spot price on their phone, they see the price on the website, and they assume the difference is standard. They do not comparison shop across 5 dealers. They do not calculate the percentage over spot. They just click buy because they are excited about the thesis and terrified that the price will run away from them before they can get positioned. And the dealers exploit that urgency with surgical precision. I tracked one major online dealer over 90 days this year, on days when silver was trending on social media or when a viral YouTube video sent a wave of new buyers to the market. This dealer increased their premiums by an average of 38% within 4 hours, not because their acquisition cost changed, because they knew that emotionally charged beginners were about to flood their checkout page, and those buyers would never notice the inflated spread. Real numbers. On a quiet Tuesday in March, this dealer sold Silver Eagles at $5.49 over spot. 2 weeks later, after a viral tweet about the COMEX drain, the identical coin from the identical dealer was listed at $8.99 over spot. Same coin, same dealer, same month. If you bought 100 coins on that Thursday instead of that Tuesday, you paid $350 more for the exact same metal. If you bought a monster box, that is $1,650. That went directly into the dealer's margin and will never come back to you, regardless of where silver trades. That is not capitalism. That is a toll booth on the highway to your financial future. The fix is simple. Track premiums across at least 3 dealers for a full week before you buy anything. Compare. Calculate the percentage over spot. If a dealer's premium is spiking on the same day silver is trending, that is not coincidence. That is the trap. Walk away and buy next Tuesday when the excitement fades and the premiums normalize. Scam number 2. The numismatic upsell. This is the scam that inflicts the deepest financial wound per transaction because it multiplies the dealer's profit margin by 500 to 1,000%, while making the buyer feel sophisticated for falling for it. It targets phone buyers almost exclusively. Here is the script, and I am calling it a script because that is exactly what it is. You call a dealer. You mention that you want to buy silver for the first time. Maybe you reference a video you watched or say you're worried about inflation. You have now identified yourself as a motivated buyer with strong conviction and zero experience. The salesperson validates your thesis. They tell you that you're making a brilliant decision. They build trust and rapport, and then the pivot comes. They say something like this: you definitely want to own silver, but you need to make sure you are buying the right silver. Generic rounds and standard bullion are commodity products. The real value is in numismatic coins, graded coins, collector pieces. These carry a scarcity premium that protects your downside and amplifies your gains. The smart money has always known this. It sounds sophisticated. It sounds like insider knowledge. It is a lie designed to multiply the dealer's margin by a factor of 10. Let me show you the math, because the math demolishes this scam completely. A standard American Silver Eagle in brilliant uncirculated condition sells for approximately spot plus $5 to $6. Call it $38 when spot is $32. That same coin, sent to a grading service and returned in a plastic slab stamped MS-70, is sold by these telephone dealers for $79 to $99. Some charge over $120 for the same single ounce of silver, the same $32 of metal content. Now project forward. Silver hits $50 per ounce. Your $38 bullion eagle is worth $56 to $58. You made $20 per coin. Your neighbor, who bought the $89 graded eagle from the phone dealer, can sell it for maybe $95 on the secondary market. He made $6. You outperformed him by 3 to 1 on the same move in the same metal because you paid for silver and he paid for a plastic case and a subjective opinion about surface scratches. The numismatic premium is not an investment. It is the dealer's vacation fund. The rule is simple and absolute. If you are buying silver as a monetary hedge or an investment in the commodity thesis, buy bullion. Never pay for the outfit. The metal does not know what is stamped on it. The metal does not care about the velvet box. Buy the most ounces you can for the fewest dollars. That is the only math that matters. Scam number 3, the limited edition trap. This is the psychological masterpiece of the dealer playbook because it weaponizes something every silver investor already believes, that silver is scarce, and turns that belief into a premium extraction machine. The setup is elegant. The dealer commissions a uniquely designed silver round or bar. They stamp it with a serial number. They limit the production run to 5,000 or 2,500 pieces. They print a certificate of authenticity. They put it in a velvet box. They photograph it beautifully. And they sell it for $59, $79, or $99 per ounce, while standard bullion sits on the same website for $35. The buyer feels they are acquiring something rare, something that will appreciate beyond just the metal content because of its limited nature, something that combines the investment thesis with the thrill of collecting. But here is what that certificate of authenticity is actually worth in the secondary market. Absolutely nothing. 0. The 4 cents it cost to print. A mintage of 5,000 is not scarce. There are thousands of limited edition silver products released every single year by hundreds of private mints around the world. None of them command meaningful premiums on resale. When you need to sell, and every investor eventually needs to sell, the person on the other end of that transaction does not care about the serial number. They do not care about the certificate. They do not care about the velvet box. They ask one question: how many ounces and what is spot? They offer you spot plus maybe $1. You paid $79. You're selling for $34. You lost $45 per ounce on a product that was engineered from the ground up to separate you from your money by making you feel special. The silver is not special. It is 1 ounce of .999 fine silver. The same atomic element, whether it is stamped with an eagle or a dragon or a limited edition rendering of a Viking ship. Buy the metal. Ignore the marketing. Accumulate ounces, not stories. Scam number 4. The precious metals IRA rollover scheme. This is the most financially destructive item on this list because it does not just cost you inflated premiums on a single purchase. It locks your metal inside a fee-generating cage that bleeds your retirement savings every single year for as long as you hold the position. You have seen the advertisements. They're everywhere. Television, talk radio, podcast sponsorships, financial newsletter banner ads. Roll over your 401k into a precious metals IRA. Protect your retirement with physical gold and silver. Call now for your free investor guide. That free investor guide is not free. It is the most expensive piece of mail you will ever open because it is the entry point to a fee structure designed to extract thousands of dollars from your retirement savings over time. Here is what actually happens when you call that number. A high-pressure salesperson walks you through rolling over your existing retirement account into a self-directed IRA. They facilitate the purchase of physical metals through a partner dealer at premiums you would never accept if you were buying directly. And they arrange for the metal to be stored in a depository that charges you annual fees for the privilege of not being able to touch your own property. Let me lay out the real costs. The rollover facilitation fee runs $250 to $500. The dealer markup on metals purchased through the IRA is 15 to 30% above spot, far higher than any competitive online dealer because you are a captive buyer funneled through their exclusive partner. The annual storage fee is $150 to $300. The annual administration fee is another $75 to $250. And if you ever want to actually hold your metal, taking physical delivery triggers a distribution, a taxable event, and shipping fees that can consume 30 to 40% of the value, depending on your tax bracket and age. A member of our community sent me his statement. He rolled over $50,000 18 months ago. After the dealer markup, he received approximately $41,000 worth of silver at actual market value. He lost $9,000 on day one. In 18 months, he has paid $400 in storage and administration fees. His total cost of ownership is $1,000. Silver needs to rise 25% from his entry price before he sees a single dollar of profit. And he cannot touch his metal. It sits in a vault in Delaware controlled by a custodian he has never met. If that custodian goes bankrupt, his claim on the metal is that of an unsecured creditor standing in line behind the banks. He thought he was protecting his retirement. He was financing someone else's business model. The IRA structure is the perfect trap because it combines every psychological lever. It invokes retirement security. It invokes tax benefits. It invokes the gravitas of a formal financial structure. But underneath the paperwork, it is a premium extraction scheme bolted to a recurring fee engine wrapped in the emotional armor of retirement planning. There are better vehicles for holding metals in a tax-advantaged account, and none of them require you to surrender custody of your property to a third party who charges you rent. Scam number 5, fear-based urgency selling. This is not a standalone scam. This is the emotional accelerant that makes every other scam on this list possible. It is the gasoline that the predatory dealers pour over your rational decision-making process before they strike the match. The technique is straightforward. Through advertising, social media, email campaigns, or the phone salesperson, the dealer constructs a narrative of imminent catastrophe. The dollar is collapsing. The banking system is failing. Silver is about to become completely unavailable. Premiums are about to double. If you do not buy today, right now, this instant, you'll be permanently locked out of the greatest wealth transfer in human history. I want to be very clear about something. I believe in the silver thesis. The supply deficit is real. The industrial demand is structural. The monetary debasement is accelerating. I have built this channel on that conviction, and nothing I say today changes my outlook on where this metal is going. But there is a vast and critical difference between believing in a thesis and being stampeded into a bad transaction by a salesman who weaponizes that thesis to bypass your judgment. When you are afraid, you do not comparison shop. When you believe the world has 48 hours left, you do not spend 3 days researching whether the IRA rollover is a good deal. When you're convinced that silver will be unavailable by Friday, you do not question why the dealer is charging $89 for a coin you can buy elsewhere for $38. The fear overrides every defense mechanism you have, and that is precisely the state of mind in which scams 1 through 4 become possible. Fear is the master key that opens your wallet. Without it, you would never pay $89 for a graded eagle. Without it, you would never pay $79 for a limited edition round. Without it, you would never surrender your retirement savings to a custodian who charges you annual rent on your own property. But with fear coursing through your decision-making process, every overpriced product becomes a lifeboat, and every predatory dealer becomes a rescuer. The fear is manufactured. The urgency is manufactured. The scarcity is manufactured. The silver thesis is real, but the panic is synthetic. So here is your defense protocol. 5 rules that make you immune to everything I just described. Tattoo these on the inside of your eyelids if you have to. Rule 1. Never buy silver on the same day you decide to buy silver. Impose a mandatory 72-hour cooling period between the decision and the transaction. If the thesis is real on Monday, it will still be real on Thursday. The urgency you feel is the dealer's most profitable tool. Remove it. Rule 2. Always calculate the percentage premium before you buy anything. Total price minus spot price divided by spot price times 100. If the number is above 15% for standard government minted bullion, walk away. If it is above 25%, run. If it is above 50%, you're being scammed and you should file a complaint. Rule 3. Never buy silver over the phone from a dealer who contacted you first. Inbound cold calls from precious metals dealers are the single most reliable indicator of a predatory operation. The FTC has issued multiple warnings about this exact tactic. Legitimate dealers do not cold call retail customers. If they are calling you, you are not the customer. You are the product. Rule 4. Buy bullion, not collectibles. Generic rounds and common government coins at the lowest available premium from reputable online dealers. Maximum ounces, minimum cost. The person who buys 100 ounces at $3 over spot will outperform the person who buys 40 ounces at $20 over spot in every scenario. Every single one. There are no exceptions. Rule 5. If you want silver exposure in a retirement account, consider holding a physically backed ETF like PSLV inside your existing brokerage IRA rather than rolling over into a self-directed precious metals IRA. You eliminate the dealer markup, the storage fees, the administration fees, and the custodial risk. It is not a perfect vehicle, and it carries its own counterparty considerations, but it is mathematically superior to the rollover scheme by thousands of dollars over any meaningful holding period. Let me be clear about one final thing. I am not anti-dealer. The silver market requires good dealers to function. There are honest, transparent, fair premium businesses in this industry that educate their customers and provide genuine value. I buy from several of them personally, and I will continue to do so. This video is not about them. This video is about the predators, the operators who have infiltrated the precious metals industry and built fee structures and markup schemes specifically engineered to extract maximum revenue from the emotional conviction of first-time buyers. They are parasites riding the bull market. They take the real thesis, the legitimate data about deficits and debasement and central bank buying, and they wrap it around a sales funnel designed to vacuum money out of the people who can least afford to lose it. A good thesis executed through a bad transaction produces a bad outcome. You can be right about silver and still lose money if the dealer skimmed your margin on the way in. Every dollar of unnecessary premium is a dollar that silver has to recover before you see a single cent of profit. In a bull market, the winners are not the people who bought the most expensive silver. The winners are the people who bought the most ounces. Protect your capital. Protect your thesis. Protect your conviction from the people who would exploit it for a commission. The markets are already rigged against retail investors from above. Do not let them be rigged against you from below as well. This is the market cipher. We decode the markets so you do not get played by them. If this video saved you from a bad deal, send it to one person who is about to make their first silver purchase. They need to hear this before they pick up that phone or click that checkout button. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stack smart, and never let anyone rush you into a bad deal.